Good evening. The time is almost 6 p.m. on Monday, and I have done most of my Harrison buttons during my work day today. There's one more down here that's already done, but it's not closed. Yeah, I need to sew on 4 more buttons, and then this cursed project is done. Like done. I am not going to touch this again. I may touch it again. Yeah. The cuffs need buttons, and there are 2 more buttons to sew on the button band, and then I'm done. I'm done. I just need to take pictures of it, and yeah. And then it's on to the pirate shirt, I think. I'm not going to be able to get the new sewing machine until next week at the very earliest, and that is if well, I've agreed to go try out a new I've agreed to go try out a Bernina 570 QE, I think. Or rather, I'm going to try out a Bernina 590, which is what they have at the shop, and the owner said that it's basically the same machine as the 570, except the 590 is a bit more fancy and 2,000 euros more expensive, so I definitely don't have money in the budget for the 590. Even the 570 is a little bit dubious. They also should have a Bernina 435 and a Pfaff, I think 710, and a Husqvarna Viking something. They're all in the same sort of price range, which is 2,000 euros cheaper than the Bernina that I really kind of want, because it comes with a built-in walking foot, or rather it comes with a built-in dual feed, which is the same as a walking foot, and that would make it a lot easier for me to sew leather, which is a project that I have coming up, because I really need to update, or rather fix my leather greatcoat, which is it's a coat that I love to pieces, which is what it's doing. It's going into pieces. So I need to at least probably add some gores to the skirt, so that my expanded hips, as we say, have space for them. And on top of that, I need to completely redo the lining, because the lining is the thing that is most hurting on it right now. There are huge holes on it, so that's not a good look. So I really want to make sure that I fix that before next winter. So yeah, those 2 things would be great, because if I can get the gores, I can have the coat close all the way without straining too much, because right now it closes up. It closes it to about here, which is about where my natural waist is, and then after that it just sort of falls away because there's no space for my hips, because it's a men's coat that I bought 15 years ago. Yeah, just about 15 years ago. And yeah, I've gained both weight and a lot of muscle since then. So my well, frankly, my ass is a lot rounder than it was. So that is the plan. Anyway, a built-in walking foot or a dual feed would make that plan a lot easier. Otherwise, I'm going to have to look into finding a walking foot somewhere else. Plus, the 570 has the option of getting an accessory for embroidery, and I kind of want one. It's probably going to be a pain in the ass to use, like it's or pain in the patella to use, in terms of getting all the configurations right for embroidery and sewing when you're moving between them. But, oh, sorry. I don't expect that I'll be doing so much embroidery that would become a huge problem. Although, who knows? Maybe I'll just go hog wild with embroidering everything as soon as it's possible to do by machine. Anyway, I need to write a blog post tonight, and after that I need to do some more certification studies, and hopefully that will lead to a good outcome in all the best ways. Although I have some doubts given how tired I am already. Anyway, I'm going to try to film one of the buttons, sewing on one of the buttons, but honestly, it's very boring. It's slow and it's boring. So, you know. And plus, for me to film it, I would need to be here. I don't know if I can light my computer enough. Maybe I can. Anyway, I'm going to go before I make even the last ones. Before I make even the last of you yawn more than you are, because, well, sometimes you're tired. I will see you probably tomorrow, possibly later tonight. Good evening. It's been quite a day here. The time is 21:39, which means that I've gone most of the day without filming or really sewing either. The Harrison shirt is done, but for one last button, and I figured that I would do the one last ceremonial button on camera, because, you know, why not? Then it's done. I started working on the pirate shirt, and I realized what a pain in the patella the trying to sew gathers in by hand is. It is a massive pain in the patella. I'm not a fan. I cannot stress that enough. So yeah, I might need to bring out my sewing machine out of retirement just to sew those gathers on and try to make that work. It's not like the stitching is going to be visible, so I think it might work. Like, the end result is not pretty, but it doesn't need to be pretty when the once the gathers are on, they're gonna the stitching that I'm going to be doing is going to be covered by a felled piece. And I think that might have been a mistake. I should have left the seaming and the felling of the side seam on the sleeves until after I had attached the cuffs, because it's kind of a massive pain to try to sew those gathers into a round shape. So if I had been smart, I might have done that before I attached the side seam, but I did not. So here we are. In the meanwhile, yeah, the gathering went pretty well. It was pretty easy as expected, but the stuff with sewing the gathers in place and trying to make the gathers even and all that good stuff, it's kind of a mess right now, and I think I'm gonna have to take out the sewing machine to do the actual attaching of the gathered sleeve head, gathered sleeve end, anyway, into the cufflink, because as it stands, I don't think that I can make it happen by hand sewing. I can make a surprising amount of stuff happen by hand sewing, but the gathers are just beyond me. And unfortunately the gathers are kind of the next step. Like if I don't do the gathers at the cuff edge, I need to be doing the gathers at the shoulder seam, and that's gonna be an even bigger pain. So yeah, I'm already missing my machine. I am counting the days until I can go to the sewing machine shop to try out. It's going to be a fancier version of the machine that I'm looking to possibly buy. But the guy at the shop says that it is the same chassis and the same interface and all that good stuff. It's just a higher price point and some nicer oh Jesus, I'm just now seeing the result in my cuff buttonholes on the inside, and it is not pretty. It's so very, very not pretty. Anyway, it's a lot higher price point, so the machine that I'm looking to buy is probably around 3,500. And the machine that they have there at the shop is about 5,500. So way out of my price range. But it should have a similar sewing experience and all that stuff. So I should get pretty good I should get a pretty good picture of what it looks like or what it feels to sew on, and I am hopeful. It's a Bernina machine, so I'm sure it's gonna be lovely. I have a friend who writes as CJ Dugas, and she's very much a fan of Bernina machines, so I'm hopeful. If it's not that one, then there are others in the shop that I should be able to try out. And here we have the final button, the very last button. And look at this buttonhole. It is atrocious. It's not focusing right. No, come on. You know how to focus on that. Anyway, it's looking pretty atrocious, and I don't think this machine is destined to live for much longer. Anyway, the Harrison shirt is officially finished. I'm going to don it tomorrow after work and take some very nice pictures of it and all that good stuff. And I might not have the time tomorrow to sew at all because we are having some renovations done. There's an electrician who's working on our lights, and there are two guys who are fixing the hole I made in the wall. So that's good. But they're going to be walking around tomorrow, and somebody's going to have to watch the dog, because the dog does not enjoy strangers walking through our house. So tomorrow is going to be an interesting day in the misnamed Chinese proverb way. It's not actually a Chinese proverb. It's I don't know if anyone knows the actual history, but it's the last I remember reading is that it started in the US somewhere, somehow. Anyway, it's not, you know. Yeah. Also, my sewing room has been taken over by a very, very, very dusty television. It's supposed to be on the wall that it's getting fixed right now, so this was the most secure place that we could put it while that was happening. So probably no sewing tomorrow. Most likely sewing the day after tomorrow. And I will see you then. Good afternoon. It is a Saturday afternoon. Yesterday I was feeling a little loopy. I filmed a little bit of me being loopy at the camera, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep that. That will be an editing decision. In any case, today, in the loopy bits, I mentioned that I did manage to make my sewing machine work enough to be able to sew stuff that's not going to be seen. So basically most of the stuff that is going into the pirate shirt, which is pretty good, pretty awesome. So what I'm gonna do is sew the cuffs on the pirate shirt. I've already sewn one of the cuffs on. The bad thing about having the sun out is that it's very hard to film white on white on white. But there's a cuff on this piece, and I'm turning the other side under. Come on, there we go. I'm turning the other side under and then hand sewing it into place on the wrong side. So that's good. Yeah, that's pretty much the plan right now, is to make these things happen. And yeah, my hope is that I'm going to be able to get the two sleeves attached to the body today. And if the stitching is mostly clean, there are some skips and inconsistencies here and there on the bobbin side, and I don't know how to deal with that, but I do know that I can get it done most of the way, which would be good. So my plan right now is to attach the other cuff, well, gather and then attach the other cuff, and then I'm going to try to possibly, if the stitching remains at least workable, I'm going to try to attach little wedges at the shoulders into the neck hole, neck opening, because that way I can have a little bit more space for the boobage, and space for the boobage would be very nice. I've got enough fabric, well, much more than enough fabric to take care of that. And if I can get the triangles sewn in, I can get these both. Actually, the first cuff needs a lot of handwork. The second cuff has the gathering stitches sewn in, so I just need to gather and sew that into the cuff piece, which has been sewn previously. And I need to add the wedges, and after the wedges I also need to add, the dog is apparently, yes, he just lay down behind my door because he couldn't get in apparently or something. Anyway, yes, the cuff, second cuff, wedges, and then I can add the gathering stitches to the sleeves. I need to finish both of the cuffs before I try to add the gathering stitches to the sleeves at the other end, because there's no point in, or it's going to be a lot more difficult to sew the cuff all the way in after the sleeve is attached to the body. So sew the cuff onto the gathered stuff, then I'm gonna go basically watch my AWS studies lectures and hand sew the rest of the cuffs in the rest of the way. Then I'm gonna add the wedges into the shoulders and the sleeves into the shoulder seams, and sew the side seams on the body. And at that point, I don't think there's going to be anything more left than hand sewing. No, there's buttonholes, but I'm going to sew the buttonholes by hand, or I need to wait until I have a new machine, because this one is not going to sew any more buttonholes. I can tell you that. Also, this is how I know that the buttonholes are not going to be sewn. It is my Harrison shirt. There is something wrong with this sleeve. This is where the buttonhole is supposed to go. This is where the buttonhole actually is. Look at how messy that is. I'm not happy with that buttonhole, but it is there for the duration. So, my plan right now is that once I have a new machine with the capability to do buttonholes, essentially, I'm going to sew 2 more buttonholes on the cuffs on the Harrison shirt and just use cufflinks, because there's just no way that I'm going to be able to neatly fix this buttonhole situation on the Harrison shirt. And I like cufflinks. Cufflinks are great. I just don't have shirts that, use them. So I will make the Harrison shirt a buttonhole, a cufflinks shirt. So problem solved. Now, gathers, cuff, and then AWS studies. I'll see you on the other side. Well, my friends, that's another week at an end. This week I've made progress on my pirate shirt. I've added cuffs to both of the sleeves here. Of course you can't see it right now. Anyway, I have added cuffs to both of these sleeves. What is wrong with my picture? Anyway, I still need to sew the wrong side of the second one, and I think I'm gonna do it right now before I go to bed. The time is past 11 p.m., which is past my bedtime before a weekday, so I probably shouldn't. I also made and sewed one of my lovely shoulder gussets. Here we go. Of course you can't actually see that, because why would you? The plan for tomorrow is, well, I have an appointment downtown, which means that I will have time after that to do the meet and greet with the possible new sewing machine. So I'm glad about that. I've got a very short work day tomorrow because of that appointment. And yeah, tomorrow's plan is to sew the other gusset on. Hopefully get the seams finished on both of the gussets, so that I can just gather what I have and have it be good, and then I can start setting in the sleeves, and I am really looking forward to that. And yeah, I think that's about it for this week. Yeah, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, and I will see you next week. Take care, orders.